am Paankhi Agrawal, visiting faculty at Department of Sociology, SNDT University, Mumbai. Subject, Political Sociology. Under this subject, we will be looking at 2 units. Unit 1, Introduction. Unit 2, Political Culture. Unit 1, Introduction. Lesson 1, Political Sociology, Nature and Scope. Under this lesson, there are these following contents: Introduction, Understanding the terms sociology and politics, Definitions of political sociology, Nature of political sociology, Scope and subject matter, Summary, Questions for self-study, and References. At the end of this lesson, you will be able to 1. Explain the meaning of political sociology, 2. Describe the nature of political sociology, and 3. Understand the scope and subject matter of political sociology. Section 1.1, Introduction. After reading the approach note, you must have become acquainted with this paper. In the first chapter, we will study the meaning, nature, and scope of political sociology. As you know, the scope of sociology is very vast. Political sociology is one of the branches of sociology. It is made up of 2 important words, politics and sociology. We will now see the meaning of both these words. Section 1.2, Understanding the terms sociology and politics. Sociology is the base and mother of all social sciences. It is the study of society. It encourages us to examine the various aspects of a social environment that we might otherwise ignore, neglect, or take for granted. Thus, it allows us to look beneath the surface of everyday life. Sociology is a social science that uses various methods of empirical investigation and critical analysis to develop and refine a body of knowledge and theory about human social activity, often with the goal of applying such knowledge to the pursuit of social welfare. Sociology is the youngest of the recognized social sciences. Auguste Comte, the French philosopher, coined the word sociology in his book Positive Philosophy, which was published in the year 1839. The term sociology refers to the science of social phenomena. Sociology is the study of the general processes and laws of social life as well as of society. In practice, it is the study of society from a particular point of view. Both Comte and Herbert Spencer, the 2 founders of sociology, observed that the society is the basic unit of sociological analysis. Various social institutions such as family, religion, state, property, and the interrelationships between these institutions form the sub-unit of analysis in sociology. While emphasizing the sociological context, modern sociologists define sociology as the science that deals with social groups and as the study of human interactions and interrelations. Thus, human behavior is a focus of sociology. Sociology is concerned with human behavior, both individual and collective, but more often it is concerned with the collective and its relation to society. It is therefore the study of human behavior within a social context. Unlike sociology, political science as a term is not that comprehensive. Sociology is all-embracing as it is the study of human behavior from the social point of view. But politics is concerned only with certain aspects of society. Political science deals with certain aspects of human behavior, like electoral behavior or legislative process, as well as with the activities and functioning of the legislatures, executives, political parties, interest groups, etc. The main aim of politics is to resolve human conflict. It is a process by which society formulates policies and makes decisions. It is the exercise of power and influence in the society and the authoritative allocation of values and resources. Politics depends on some settled order. Small groups are part of that order. They may help to create politics, but their internal behavior is not political simply because their individual function is different from that of the state itself. According to Creek, this refers to a conciliation process within states. There is a problem that if this conception is accepted, then it makes no sense to refer to the politics of a stateless society, the politics of the business firm, or to the politics of any other non-state organization. Thus, the job of political sociology would be the analysis of the institutions of the state. In the words of Greer and Orleans, the major empirical problem of political sociology today would seem then to be the description, analysis, and sociological explanation of the peculiar social structure called the state. This view has been accepted since long, but there is an alternative viewpoint. It lays emphasis on the fact that almost all social relations are characterized by politics. This view holds that politics is nothing but utilization and development of power. Since every social group envoys and exercises power, politics is thus more comprehensive than earlier view. Harold Laswell gives an extremely opposite view to that of Creek by observing politics as meaning influence and the influential power of the powerful. This view is prevalent in sociology as power, authority, and influence are the characteristics of every social process and they are not unique to any particular type of social group. For example, in a family, the father exercises his power over his wife and children, or in a factory, a foreman exercises control over his workers. As Dar defines it, a political system is any persistent pattern of human relationships that involves, to a significant extent, power, rule, or authority. The classical sociologist Max Weber defines power as the chance of a man or a number of men to realize their own will in a communal action even against the resistance of others who are participating in action. He observed that state is a special kind of institution that successfully possesses a monopoly of the legitimate use of power within a given territory. Precisely speaking, the study of politics is concerned with the study of exercise of power in social situations. The problems pertaining to power and its use in societal contexts is relative amounts in structuring and legitimating within groups of various kinds are some of the other concerns. Power is thus the focal point of political studies. Political sociology as a discipline of interdisciplinary study was not born by mere accident. Rather, it has been the result of a forward thrust in the realm of political analysis that stood for unity and integrity of social sciences. The discipline is the product of the behavioral revaluation that gave an eye-catching momentum to the shifting trends in political analysis. Section 1.3 Definitions of Political Sociology. Louis A. Koza defines political sociology as that branch of sociology which is concerned with the social cause and consequences of given power distributions within or between the societies, and with the social and political conflicts that lead to changes in the allocation of power. Bendix and Lipset define it as follows. While political science starts with state and examines how it affects the society, political sociology starts with society and examines how it affects the state. Robert E. Dowse and John A. Huger define political sociology as the study of political behavior within a sociological perspective. Michael Rush and Philip Toft say political sociology is a discipline that examines the link between politics and society, and as such, it is a theoretical and methodological bridge between political science and sociology. Giovanni Sartori says political sociology, which is an interdisciplinary hybrid, is only born when the sociological and poliological approaches are combined. A.K. Mukhopadhyay says political sociology is the product of a cross-fertilization between sociology and political science that studies the impact of society on politics and also the reverse, although viewing the substance of politics in a social form. In short, political sociology is the study of the relationship between state and society. It looks at how major social trends can affect the political process, as well as explores various social forces working together to change political policies. Section 1.4, the nature of political sociology. Political sociology is a forward thrust in the realm of political analysis. So the nature of political sociology can best be delineated in understanding the shifting trends in political analysis. The shifting trend shows that the traditional political science explained all political phenomena in relation with state. But with the advent of behavioral revolution, analysis began to explain politics not in terms of state and its related components, but in terms of observed and observable behaviors of individuals that exert a deep influence on the actual functioning of these institutions. Political sociology is a product of these behavioral revolutions in politics. The discipline as such assumes this non-political aspect while keeping in touch with the political aspect. For example, political science studies the Indian Parliament in terms of its formal rule-making power, but political sociology studies Indian Parliament in terms of the actual behavior of its members and their actual performance inside the Indian Parliament while rule-making. Hence, instead of being state-centered, political sociology is society-centered. R.K. Merton, L. Bloom, and L.S. Cottle have clarified that political sociology consists of the following. First, social foundations of the political order. That is, it deals with the way political arrangements depend upon social organizations and cultural values. That is, the underlying support of political institutions rather than formal aspects of government. Secondly, the social basis of political behavior. This refers to the behavior associated with voting, holding political opinion, membership in political associations, and participation of the people in politics by supporting political movements. Thirdly, social aspect of political process includes the study of interest groups, political parties, and movements, and the stability of the political order. It studies the interaction between the pattern of organized groups in politics. Section 1.5, Scope and Subject Matter. It is not easy to delineate precisely the scope of political science or sociology, despite the fact that they have a vast literature of their own and have been enriched by the writings of leading political scientists and sociologists. And it is still all the more difficult to discuss the scope of political sociology because it is a newly emerged discipline and also because its literature is quite limited. Yet, despite these limitations, attempts have been made to locate the main threads that often compose the rubric of political sociology. According to Greer and Orleans, political sociology is mainly concerned with A. the structure of the state, B. the nature and conditions of legitimacy, C. The nature of the monopoly of force and its use by the state. D. The nature of the subunits and their contention with the state. In other words, we can say that the discipline is concerned with consensus and legitimacy, participation and representation, and the relationship between economic development and political change. It has been argued that whatever the political sociologists do, that becomes the subject matter of political sociology. Lipset has observed that if the stability of society is a central issue for sociology as a whole, the stability of a specific institutional structure or political regime and the social conditions of democracy are the prime concerns of political sociology. According to Lipset and Bendix, the subject matter of political sociology is as follows. First, voting behavior in communities and in the nation, which can be studied through attitude and opinion researches. 2. Concentration of economic power and political decision-making. 3. Ideologies of political movements and interest groups. 4. Political parties, voluntary associations, the problem of oligarchy, and psychological correlates of political behavior. And 5th, government and the problem of the bureaucracy. Lipset also includes the following areas in political sociology: politics of bureaucracy, electoral behavior, the concept of power, extremist political movements, and internal government of voluntary organizations, the concept of legitimacy and effectiveness. Please note, legitimacy refers to the capacity of the government to create an impression among the people that the existing institutions are the most effective ones. Maurice Duverger considered political sociology as a science of power and authority relationships. According to him, following is the scope of political sociology. Firstly, political structures in which the dialectic of antagonism and integration unfolds, that is to say, the context of political phenomena. Secondly, dialectic itself in its primary manifestation is the existence of antagonisms. And thirdly, how antagonisms are resolved and integrated, as well as the apparent limits to this procedure. In other words, we can say that political sociology is the study of power in every human association, and not just in the nation state. Each of these associations serves as a structure in which conflicts and integration takes place. Political structure include physical structures that are geographical and demographic, and social structures which include technical skills, institutions, and cultures. Political sociology seeks to analyze the cause of political antagonisms and conflicts, which occur not only between individuals but also between groups. It is also the study of conflict and integration. Section 1.6 Summary. Let us now sum up the topic. The very nature of political sociology has much to recommend towards stability of the political system, which is its central concern. Political sociology tries to find out a solution to the problem of social order by reconciling it with political obedience. It tries to formulate an authoritative solution to conflicts and also provides the basis for a disciplined social order. It studies political system and also analyzes and compares the various political systems in terms of their functions, roles, structures, capability, autonomy, political culture, and political socialization. It has added precision to political analysis by offering systematic explanations of social phenomena. In short, political sociology has brought about order, reliability, and manipulativeness to political analysis. Section 1.7 Questions for self-study. Kindly answer the following questions. First, explain the meaning of political sociology. Second, define political sociology and mention its scope and subject matter. Third, explain the nature and scope of sociology. Fourth, write notes on nature of political sociology and subject matter of political sociology. Section 1.8, References. For this lesson, you can refer the following books. Author R.K. Garg, Modern Textbook of Political Sociology, published in 2013 by Swastik Publication, New Delhi. Second, author S.M. Lipset, The Field of Political Sociology, published in 1960 by Basic Books, New York. Third, B.K. Nagla, Political Sociology, published by Rawat Publications, New Delhi. And fourth, R.P. Verma, The Dynamic of Political Sociology, published by Rajat Publications, New Delhi. Subject: Political Sociology. Unit 1, Introduction. Lesson 2, Political System. The following are the contents of this lesson: Introduction, Political System and Society, Definitions of Political System, Characteristics of Political System, Democracy and Totalitarian System, Forms of Government such as monarchy, aristocracy, dictatorship and democracy. Summary, questions for self-study and references. At the end of this lesson, you will be able to understand the relationship between political system and society, know the various forms of government, and be able to differentiate between various forms of government. Section 2.1, Introduction. This lesson deals with political system and its relation to society and introduces different models of political systems in different forms of government. Section 2.1, Political System and Society. Dear students, you know that political sociology is a branch of sociology. It studies the political behavior of man. Political system is a subsystem of the total social system. It is the most important area in the field of political sociology. The concept political system is frequently used in the flow of political analysis. In all societies, the role of formal governmental institution is shaped and limited by informal groups, political attitudes, and a multitude of interpersonal relationships. Modern political analysis through the concept of political system gives a comprehensive framework of analysis for dealing effectively with political phenomena in all kinds of societies. The idea of a system was first used in biology by L.V. Beer-Tallenfy. He used the term to describe different parts of human body on the basis of their functions. For example, the respiratory system, the digestive system, etc. According to him, a system is a set of units standing in interaction with each other, having close relationship among themselves. System is thus a kind of collective entity with interdependence between parts, components and processes that involve regularities of the relationship. It has been created to discharge specific functions. The different units of a system are separate and distinguishable in nature, but at the same time they are interrelated and interdependent. The principle of general system theory, which was developed in natural sciences, was applied to the study of social phenomena with certain transformations made by anthropologists and sociologists. Anthropologists like W.R. Ashby, Radcliffe Brown, Malinowski, and sociologists like Emile Durkheim, Robert Merton, George Homans, Talcott Parsons, etc., all of whom contributed significantly to developing the systems approach. David Easton applied the study of system in the analysis of political phenomena, and he used the term political system. Section 2.3 Definitions. Max Weber says that a political system is human community that successfully claims the monopoly of legitimate use of physical coercion within a given territory. David Easton defines a political system as a set of interactions abstracted from the totality of social behavior through which authoritative values are made and implemented for society. Laswell and Kaplan say that shaping and sharing of power is the main concern of the political system, with the help of threat for actual use of severe deprivation in the case of non-compliance. G. A. Almond defines political system as that system of interaction that is found in all independent societies which performs the function of integration and adaptation by means of employment or threat of employment of more or less legitimate physical compulsion. To sum up, all these definitions imply legitimate heavy sanctions, the rightful power to punish, to enforce and to compel. Political system includes not only governmental institutions but also all interactions which affect legitimate physical coercion. Of course, it does not mean that political system is solely concerned with force, violence and compulsion. Rather, its relation to coercion is its distinctive quality. It is additionally concerned with national security, social welfare, power in all its social aspects, increased popular participation, etc. It also includes government institutions such as legislatures, courts, administrative agencies, and all structures in their political aspect such as kinship ties, caste groupings, anomic phenomena, assassination, riots, etc. It also includes formal organizations like parties, interest groups, and media of communication. Section 2.4 Characteristics of political system. The following are the characteristics of political system. First, universality of political structures. That is, the same political structures perform the same political function in different political systems, although with varying degree of frequency. Second, universality of political structures. That is, the same type of functions is performed in all political systems. As such, the overall performance of the political system depends on the roles played by the structures in their political contexts. Thirdly, multifunctionality of political culture. All political structures perform more than one function because it is difficult to confine any political structure with one and only one function in the modern period. For example, courts not only adjudicate but also legislate. Bureaucracy acts as a source of legislation, and political parties and pressure groups initiate legislation and participate in national administration. Fourthly, mixed culture. All political systems combine both primitive and modern elements and thus represent a mixed system in the cultural sense. Thus, political system always remains open to be influenced by environment and thereby maintains its equilibrium. Section 2.5 Democracy and Totalitarian Systems. Social organization and government are necessary features of human life. Politics, which is concerned with the governing of man, plays a leading role in the determination of the sort of lives men lead and the kind of human beings they become. Politics is a human venture centered in man and created by man. Democracy and authoritarianism are defined by their respective value systems and by the political institutions and practices they employ. These two factors are closely related. From the beginning of human civilization, long before the Marxian prophecies, the urge for liberty, equality and fraternity was somehow acquainted with the human mind. Traditionally, from Plato to More, even in the subsequent period, the current of this thinking was changing with human progress. Democracy has been widened to comprehend within its scope not merely political equality, but economic welfare and social justice too. However, it remains so much allied to the capitalist economic institutions that social governments of Scandinavian countries and the people's democracies of the communist bloc are sneered at as deviationist from traditional democratic concepts. Before going further, we will discuss in brief the different models for different political systems. The different models exhibit different political systems. The different models exhibit different forms of government. Section 2.6 Forms of Government. Monarchy, aristocracy, dictatorship, and democracy. These are the important forms of government. Monarchy. According to Bryce, monarchy means not only any state, the head of which is called king or emperor, but one in which the personal will of the monarchy is constantly effective in the last resort as a predominant factor in government. This form of government is not necessarily dictatorial. It has been distinguished into 4 types: absolute monarchy, limited or constitutional monarchy, hereditary monarchy, and elective monarchy. The main advantages of monarchy are usefulness during the period of crisis, rule of the able rulers, strong government, progressive and able administration. The main disadvantages are dictatorial rule, absence of democratic traits, sometimes the rule of improper persons, exploitation, conservatism, and unstable government. Due to the rise of mass political consciousness and the communication of democratic values, monarchy in different countries has been gradually substituted by democratic forms of government, by peaceful or by violent revolutions. Aristocracy. It includes 2 Greek terms, aristo and kratia, meaning the government of elites. According to Aristotle, some are born to rule and others to be ruled. Therefore, aristocracy is a government in which the political power rests in a few hands. These members of the government may belong to one family or a class or a group. As a general rule, aristocracy has been considered positively as a government of able administration, absence of monarchy, lack of corruption, etc. But its main disadvantages are misuse of political power, autocratic administration, government of the rich people, and the absence of democratic form of administration. Dictatorship. Dictatorship is also called as the totalitarian state. In the words of Mussolini, if the 19th century was an age of socialism, liberalism and democracy, the 20th century is to be a century of authority, collectivism and the totalitarian state. Thus Mussolini advocated dictatorship in Italy, whereas Hitler emerged as a dictator in Germany. Hitler had said that anyone who wants to live in Germany and through Germany is obliged to submit to the nation and to adapt himself to the totalitarian state. The totalitarian state monopolizes all power in the hands of the state that is generally represented by a dictator. Centralized authority is stressed over the autonomy of individuals. The fascist party in Germany pleaded for authority
discipline and subordination. Mussolini in Italy asked the Italian youth to obey and to fight. The worst commentary on dictatorship is its fate in the last 2 world wars. Some people point out its advantages as good administration, less expenses, growth of national consciousness, and fast progress of the nation. However, its disadvantages are more glaring. They are autocratic government, supremacy of the state, elimination of fundamental rights, narrow and aggressive nationalism, lack of international consciousness, racism, moral degeneration, opposition of public welfare, and its basis in false propaganda. Therefore, this form of government has been challenged everywhere and has given place to more democratic forms of government. Democracy. The word democracy, ever since the time of Herodotus, has been used to denote that form of government in which the ruling power is vested not in a particular class or classes, but in the members of the community as a whole. Thus, mass participation is the greatest characteristic of democracy. The most important characteristics of democratic form of government have been summed up in the following words of Abraham Lincoln, who calls it government of the people, for the people, and by the people. Democratic form of government shows a new way of life based upon the triune traits of equality, liberty, and fraternity. The English word democracy is derived from 2 Greek words, demos, meaning the people, and kratla, meaning power. That is, the power of government of the people. It is a government in which the will of the majority of the people prevails. Democracy has been viewed as a government by consent, public opinion, and criticism. It is the only type of government which is based on the consent of the governed. To have a real democracy, the consent of the governed must be real, active, and effective. Democracy as a philosophy and as an underlying principle of democratic institutions has received enormous attention from philosophers, jurists, and political scientists. Countries like United Kingdom and United States of America have worked out democratic institutions for the last few centuries and have developed democracy into an art, and their achievements have been a recommendation for its adoption elsewhere in the world. It is ironical that democracy emerged out of the embers of the French Revolution, which had witnessed the Thermidor, the Directory, and the Empire, though its initial slogans were liberty, equality, and fraternity, and it continued to be a handiwork and a handy weapon of the bourgeoisie, who were as much anxious to deny power to the common man as they themselves were deprived of power by the feudal elements. In England alone, which boasts of being the cradle of democratic institutions and whose parliament still goes with the appellations of Mother of Parliaments, the common man had to wage a titanic and relentless struggle for about 1.5 centuries for securing a little access into the citadels of democracy. In modern times, democracy has been widened to comprehend within its scope not merely political equality but also economic welfare and social well-being. The following are the characteristics of democratic form of government. 1. The political power rests in the hands of people or their elected representatives. 2. People are the final judges in the field of administration. 3. The executive is responsible to the representatives of the people. 4th. The legislature is responsible to the masses. 5. The judiciary takes care of the rights of the people. 6. The people control the government. They can even remove it or change it. 7. The Constitution of the state takes due care of the rights of different sections of the people. 8. The government remembers the value of equality, liberty and fraternity. Every citizen is given equal rights before the court of law. The state is a welfare state, looking after the welfare of every section of society. Democracy has been classified as direct and indirect. In the former, the entire public directly participates in carrying out the forms of administration. This is possible only in a very small state such as ancient Greek. This is possible only in very small states such as the ancient Greek states. Since modern states are rather too big, it is generally indirect democracy in which political decisions are taken not directly by the electorate but by their elected representatives. This form of government is now present in most of the countries in the world. There are various advantages and disadvantages of democracy. Along with obvious advantages such as the expansion and fulfillment of humanistic values and establishment of an egalitarian society, some of its difficulties have also become rather glaring. It is often observed that democracy becomes in practice aristocracy or the government of a particular political party, political section, or a dominant political leader. Most of the difficulties of democracy can be removed by proper political education of the masses, organization of public opinion, growth of national character, and the evolution of leadership at different levels of society. One of the hallmarks of democracy as a form of government is that it is dependent upon the people's participation for its existence. The most visible form of public participation in any state is voting during elections. However, it has been observed that even in mature and politically advanced countries of the West, percentage of voter turnout has been remarkably low. Even in India, it is only near about 60 to 65% in general. Also, voting people participate in the political activities of the political parties by supporting and canvassing for the party candidates and for fighting elections as candidates. Although the democratic form of candidate is noble and ideal, it is nevertheless not easy to achieve without sustained care and commitment. A true democracy acquires legitimacy and obtains the consent of the people through the people's participation, not only in elections but also in the day-to-day administration of the nation. There are two well-known forms of democracy, presidential and parliamentary. In India, there is parliamentary form of democracy, whereas in USA, there is a presidential form of democracy. Section 2.7 Summary. Political system is the most important area in the field of political sociology. Modern political analysis through the concept of political system gives a comprehensive framework of analysis for dealing effectively with political phenomena in all kinds of societies. Political system includes government institutions as well as all interactions which affect legitimate physical coercion. It is also concerned with national security, social welfare, power in all its social aspects, increased popular participation, etc. It includes government institutions such as legislatures, courts, administrative agencies, and all structures in all the political aspects such as kinship ties, caste groupings, and nomic phenomena. It also includes formal organizations like parties, interest groups, and media of communication. The concept of a political system has emerged as a part of the broad way of looking at all social behavior. From this perspective, political system is a structure that performs a certain function for the society. In short, that function is to make legitimate policy decisions. It directs attention to the entire scope of political system and society. It directs attention to the fact that the entire scope of political system and society is interrelated. Forms of government is one of the aspects of political system. The various forms of government that have been covered in this chapter include monarchy, aristocracy, totalitarianism, and democracy. Democracy has been widened to comprehend within its scope not merely political equality, but economic welfare and social justice also. A true democracy acquires legitimacy and obtains the consent of the people through the people's participation not only in elections but also in the day-to-day administration of the nation. Section 2.8 Questions for Self-Study. Kindly answer the following questions. Question 1. Define political system and explain its characteristics. Question 2. Explain democracy as a form of government. Question 3. Write short notes on A. Political system, B. Totalitarian system, C. Characteristics of democracy. Section 2.9 References. 1. Eugene J. Mochan and others. The Dynamic of Modern Government. Published by McGraw-Hill in 1966. 2. A.K. Majumdar and Bhavar Singh. Democratic Theory and its Application to Indian Politics. Published by RBSA Publishers, Jaipur in 1999. 3. Sharma Ramnath, Principles of Sociology. Published by Media Promoters and Publishers Private Limited, Mumbai in the year 1968. And 4. Saroj Kumar Jeena, Political Sociology, published by Anmol Publications Private Limited, New Delhi in the year 2002. Subject: Political Sociology, Unit 2, Political Culture, Lesson 3, Political Culture. In this lesson, you will be introduced to the following contents: Introduction, Meaning and Definition of Political Culture, Determinants of Political Culture, Significance of Political Culture, Political Socialization, its meaning, definitions, and significance, the agencies of political socialization, which would include interpersonal agencies, organization, mass media, specialized political input structures, and specialized political output structures, political role of intellectuals, interest groups, their significance, pressure groups, the role of pressure groups, characteristics of Indian pressure groups, their significance, summary, questions for self-study, and references. At the end of this lesson, you will be able to understand the concept of political culture, know about political socialization, discuss the agencies of political socialization, describe the importance of pressure groups and interest groups, and analyze the difference between various groups in politics. Section 3.1 Introduction. This lesson deals with various items like political culture, political socialization, and with importance of various pressure groups and interest groups. Section 3.2 Meaning and Definition of Political Culture. The concept of political culture owes its genesis to the post-World War phase, where political scientists attempted to develop a number of new approaches to detach political science from the tentacles of traditional approach. It is used to characterize difference between national political systems and to analyze these in behavioral terms by drawing upon psychology and sociology. The study of political culture focuses on the contents of political culture, political values, various agencies of political socialization such as family, educational institutes, mass media, political parties, on the compatibility of political culture with the values and attitudes current in the wider national culture, elite and mass cultures. Definitions: Rose and Dogen. Political culture refers to the values, beliefs and emotions that give meaning to political life. Almond and Powell. Political culture is a pattern of individual attitude and orientations towards critics among the members of a political system. Roy McCrindis. Political culture means commonly shared goals and commonly accepted rules. In other words, we can say that political culture is a sum of basic attitudes, orientations, beliefs, values, sentiments, emotions, ethos, and norms of the individual towards political objects, that is, the political system. The culture of a social group does not die with the extinction of the existing members of the group. It continues with the strength and willingness on part of the new members of the group. The willingness is a matter of learned behavior. Section 3.3 Determinants of Political Culture. The following are the determinants of political culture. 1. History. Historical events like the French Revolution, the American Revolution, the Bolshevik Revolution in Russia have greatly influenced the political culture of France, US, UK and Russia. The Indian political culture bears the influence of various foreign invasions, contacts with Western civilization and cultures, and the freedom struggle. 2. Political continuity and discontinuity. Continuity of political processes helps the revolution of participant political culture. Continuity of political processes helps the evolution of political participant culture and serves as a linkage between past and present. According to A.R. Ball, the importance of political continuity in a country like Britain lies in the fact that older values have been allowed to merge with modern attitudes undisturbed by violent internal strikes or dominance of foreign power. This is why British monarchy exists together with democracy. On the other hand, Pakistan's stints with democracy between long periods of military dictatorship have hindered the development of a stable political culture. 3. Geography. Favorable locations have helped Britain meet foreign invasions successfully, thereby keeping its political culture stable. Geography is also a great factor in the spread of socialism to Eastern European countries. 4. Socio-economic factors. A predominantly urbanized and industrialized society is more complex. Educational standards are higher, communication is more fluid, groups proliferate, and the participation in the decision-making process is higher. States with predominantly rural and peasant populations are more conservative. The impact of science and technology also leads to change in values and beliefs of the people, which in turn bring changes in the political culture. 5. Ethnic factor. Ethnic differences and conflicts in a society also determine the nature of political culture. Ethnic issues are always behind differences between national political culture and regional sub-political cultures. 6. Ideological factors. Ideology plays an important role in informing and changing people's values, commitments and orientations. The ideology of maxims determines the nature of political cultures of several states. The ideology of liberalism is prevalent in most Western political cultures. Section 3.4 Significance of political culture. The political culture helps in achieving unity in diversity. Within a political system, various subcultural groups may exist who have developed their own cultural traits. In spite of the existence of several cultural groups, the unity is achieved in the political system through the development of a systematic, congruent national political culture. In this process of integration, symbols play an important role. Symbols such as national flag, national anthem, political rituals like ceremonial opening of parliament, religious rituals like coronation ceremonies as held in Britain. Such types of symbols are constantly made use of to evoke people's emotional attachment and reverence for the political system. It is observed that by analyzing the political culture of societies, many of their political problems could be solved. Section 3.5 Political Socialization, its meaning. The concept of political socialization is indeed a modern one and new in the arena of empirical and behavioral research. Of course, it has been with political science since the origin of political philosophy. It is of prime importance in the field of political sociology. Political socialization is closely related with the political culture of a society. Political culture, as we have seen in the previous chapter, is a sum of basic orientations, beliefs, values, sentiments, ethos, and norms of the individual towards the political object, that is, the political system. According to David O. Scars, the field of political socialization was anticipated in the political theory of almost every era from Plato through Rousseau to Mao. Plato laid much emphasis upon education in training philosophers, kings, and molding their character and behaviors. Aristotle suggests that the most important prerequisite for participatory democracy was the civic education of the young. In China, Confucius was of the opinion that political stability can be ensured in a society by disciplining citizens through the medium of family life, which plays a crucial role in socializing them and shaping their political attitudes. Jacques Rousseau in France believed that it is the education of the young that lays down the foundation for stable social life in society. It molds these opinions and makes them patriotic by inclination, by passion, and by necessity. In modern times, almost all states have fully recognized the importance of political socialization in shaping and molding the attitudes, opinions, and values of citizens. Thus, the inculcation of supportive orientation towards the political system has been a central concern of political philosophers and statesmen throughout the ages. Section 3.6 Definitions. H. Hayman coined the term political socialization and recognized its importance in political science research in his work Political Socialization, published in the year 1959. G. A. Almond and G. B. Powell defined political socialization as a process through which an individual is inculcated into political culture. It helps in developing the awareness of political world and in appreciating, judging, and understanding political events. Political socialization can also be defined as the learning process by which political culture is changed and maintained. Through it, the individuals are inducted into the political culture and their orientation towards the political system is formed. Another definition of political socialization is that it is a process which shapes and transmits a nation's political culture. It maintains, transforms, and sometimes creates the political culture of people. However, it is possible only under stable conditions. Frederick I. Greenstein has defined political socialization both from narrow, broader perspectives. Narrowly conceived, political socialization is the deliberate inculcation of political information, values, and practices by institutional agents who have been formally charged with this responsibility. From a broader perspective, it encompasses all sorts of political learning, formal and informal, deliberate and unplanned, at every stage of life cycle, which includes explicitly political learning, and nominally non-political learning that affects the political behavior. It includes the learning of politically relevant attitudes and of politically relevant personality characteristics. Section 3.7 Significance of Political Socialization. It is a process through which individuals acquire knowledge, values, attitudes, and habits relevant to participation in political system. Political socialization involves the examination of the social, economic, and cultural environment of society upon the individual and upon his political attitudes and values. It is the most important link between the social and political systems, but may vary considerably from one system to another. From a political point of view, it is extremely important as a process by which individuals may become involved to varying degrees in the political process. The process of political socialization is not static. It is a dynamic and continuous process. Attitudes, values, knowledge, and beliefs are transmitted successfully from one generation to another generation. Thus, it is operative at all stages of human life. It is both intergenerational and intragenerational. In its intergenerational aspect, there is political socialization, which socializes the new generation into the established values and norms. At the intragenerational level, the socialization takes place throughout the lifespan of an individual within a generation only. When an individual becomes politically socialized, he acquires political orientation and pattern of behavior. Through it, an individual acquires information about the citizenship role and political values. Thus, it builds a harmonious relation and interaction between man and society, thereby giving a boost to the process of modernization. Political socialization is the process of transmission of political attitudes, norms, knowledge, pattern of behavior, information and values, and the like from one generation to another. Thus, it prepares the citizens for future political rule and thereby helps to build the foundation of a committed political participation. It also plays a key role in transmission of a nation's political culture. The transmission of political culture is a never-ending process which flows ceaselessly through different agencies and time. But such process is not automatic. The socializing environment is provided by the social and political system for political and politically relevant personal developments. It is through the process of learning that people acquire political culture and maintain it. The political culture of a group is also modified when it comes into contact or into conflict with the political culture of another group. Thus, there also takes the process of acculturation. Political socialization creates a sense of responsibility in the individual. Through it, man knows his belongingness to the political system. It helps an individual in the development of awareness of the need for political participation. However, sometimes it may also act in a negative way and lead to divisiveness. Political socialization is sometimes accused of being conservative, and as such it cannot keep pace with the development of a nation because it is not static but a dynamic concept. Thus, it may lead to disharmony in the maintenance of the status quo. As a result, it may lead to divisiveness. Of course, in any case, whatever may be the role of political socialization and its consequences in organized politics, one cannot deny that it is necessary for maintaining and transmitting the nation's political culture. Thus, political socialization is very important for the society as well as for the individual. Section 3.8 Agencies of Political Socialization. Political socialization takes place through a variety of agents like the family, peer groups, educational institutions, mass media, government and party agencies. Political socialization is a continuing and ongoing process. Every person passes through several stages before he completely gets socialized. It is affected through a variety of agencies. We can categorize them as follows. A. Interpersonal agencies such as family, community, neighborhood, peer groups. B. Organizations such as schools, religious institutions, workplaces. C. Mass media such as newspaper, television, radio. D. Specialized political input structure such as interest groups, political parties, etc. And finally, E. Specialized political output structure, that is, legislature, executive, bureaucracy, court, etc. Section 3.8.1 Interpersonal Agencies. The interpersonal agency socializes an individual not through different organizations but through different personal contacts. It consists of the following. Family. Family plays a key role in transmission of political culture from one generation to the next. It is the first social group to which an individual belongs to, and much of the individual's political personality is shaped at home. The member of the family has both manifest and latent influence on the ideas of children, which subsequently help in the formation of his political opinion. In the family, the member of the family has manifest and latent influence on the ideas of the child, which subsequently helps in the formation of his political opinion. In the family, the child learns the habit of both acceptance of authority and living in cooperation with others. Thus, the children adopt similar attitudes towards the political community, regime, norms, and towards the political parties as their parents. In such a situation, his or her political competence is bound to increase as it is associated with decision-making process from the beginning. And this equally applies to his or her desire for political participation. There are several reasons for transmission of political values by the family. Firstly, the family holds a crucial role in the life of a child. It is the only agency for meeting the physical and emotional needs of a child. Thus, the child is very much dependent on the family. As a result, the child is prone to readily accept the family's political beliefs and attitudes. Secondly, the child may have a natural tendency of imitating their parents. Thirdly, the familiar environment also exerts a great influence on the child. The members of the family are usually influenced by the same neighbors, friends, and by the same economic forces of the area. All the family members read the same newspaper, attend to the same radio and television programs, and gather the same gossip. All this tends to give the family members a marked uniformity of opinion against the background of which children are likely to share the political orientation of their parents. However, family is only one of the agencies of political socialization and does not enjoy absolute control over the entire process. According to Jennings and Naimi, the transmission of party identification from the parents to the children has been less successful today than it would have been a generation ago. The influence of the family may decrease with the mental and physical growth of the children, their interaction with the outside world, and gathering of new experiences and interests. Peer groups. Besides family, the other agents of interpersonal agency are community, neighbor, friends, and peer groups. They are called the reference groups. Childhood play groups, friendship cliques, small work groups, brothers and sisters, neighbors and neighborhood friends, married couples are included in this group called peer group. Peer groups are very much friendly in nature and thus can change the very attitude and outlook of a person. In adolescence, the family influence begins to diminish and the young person feels the need to become a more autonomous human being who can function independently of family guidance. Their peer group looks after these aspects. Peer group supplements the socializing functions of the family by preparing the individuals for more specific political roles. It teaches an individual how to play his or her role and socializes them into new ways of thinking, feeling, and behaving.